Welcome, dear souls, who sometimes feel lost in a labyrinth of uncertainty. Perhaps more than once, we've longed for a deeper understanding, an inner wisdom, something we often call enlightenment. But enlightenment is not a miracle, a supernatural event reserved for a select few. It is a process, a shift in the mind, a new way of perceiving the world and mastering oneself. It is a state where you are no longer controlled by fleeting emotions, fears, or trivial desires. Enlightenment, in the sense we contemplate today, is a philosophy of life, an invitation to find peace and clarity even when the external world is in chaos. In these moments, we will explore 5 profound paths, 5 doors that, when opened, can enlighten your mind, helping you live a more conscious and meaningful life. These are not dry pieces of advice, but philosophies of life drawn from the depths of human experience. The first path to enlightening your mind is to practice mindfulness and non-judgmental observation. Most of our suffering does not come from objective events, but from the negative meanings and emotions we attach to them. Our minds are always quick to judge, label, and get caught up in the stories we tell ourselves. This dust of prejudice and emotion clouds our vision, preventing us from seeing the truth. Real-life example. When a colleague doesn't greet you in the morning, your mind might immediately jump to the conclusion that they hate me or they don't respect me. Anxiety and anger arise, and you spend the whole day feeling tormented and upset. But the truth might simply be that they are having a bad day or are too preoccupied. You created your own suffering from an objective event, simply because you lacked non-judgmental observation. Philosophical analysis. This is one of the foundations of Stoic philosophy. Epictetus, a great Stoic philosopher, said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Enlightenment comes from being able to separate objective events from your subjective, emotional interpretations. Practicing mindfulness helps you quiet your racing mind. It teaches you to pause for a beat, to observe your thoughts and emotions as they come and go like clouds, without clinging or judging. In that moment of stillness, you'll have the opportunity to see the truth more clearly, unclouded by prejudices. This is the first step to an enlightened mind. You realize that you have the power to choose how you react, and that is all the power you need to find peace. The second path to enlightening your mind is to read and contemplate the works of great minds. Books are not just pages and words. They are doors into the minds of philosophers, scientists, and writers. Their ideas are keys that can unlock new perspectives in your own soul, challenging your assumptions and expanding your view of the world. Real-life example. Consider the lives of those who found great change through reading. Someone feeling stuck in their career might find the answer in the meditations of Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor-philosopher. Instead of complaining about circumstances, they learn to accept what they cannot change and focus on meaningful actions within their control. They didn't just read, they contemplated and applied those philosophies to their lives. Philosophical analysis. Stoic philosophy views learning and contemplation as an indispensable part of cultivating wisdom. Phronesis. The Stoics believe that reading and having a dialogue with great thinkers is how we sharpen our reason, refine our souls, and strengthen our will. It's a conversation not just with the person who wrote the book, but a conversation with ourselves. When you read and contemplate, you don't just receive information, you question, you reflect, and you connect those ideas with your own experiences. This process helps you build a solid foundation for your thinking, one that is not easily swayed by misinformation or fleeting emotions. An enlightened mind is not a product of a random moment, but a result of a conscious process of accumulation, contemplation, and learning from ideas that have stood the test of time. The third path to enlightening your mind, and perhaps the most difficult one, is to dare to face and overcome adversity. The mind is like a muscle. It doesn't grow stronger in comfort, but in struggle, hardship, and pain. Adversity forces us to question our assumptions, compels us to find strength we didn't know we had, and ultimately, it forges us into a more resilient, wiser version of ourselves. Real-life example. Someone loses their dream job, a relationship breaks down, or they face a serious illness. Instead of succumbing to despair, they choose to face reality. They learn to accept loss, practice patience, and find meaning in the pain. It is from the ashes of adversity that they discover an inner strength they never thought they possessed. They become more humble, more compassionate, and gain a deeper perspective on life. Philosophical analysis. This is one of the core tenets of Stoic philosophy, viewing every obstacle as an opportunity to practice virtue. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." An enlightened mind realizes that happiness and strength do not come from things going your way, but from your ability to master your reaction to everything. Adversity is not a punishment, but the forge of the soul. Every failure, every setback is an opportunity for you to practice resilience, courage, and wisdom. When you are no longer afraid of adversity, you have achieved a form of spiritual enlightenment. You realize that you are strong enough to overcome anything, and that happiness does not depend on external things, but lies within your own self-mastery. The fourth path to enlightening your mind is to learn to live with impermanence. Most human suffering comes from clinging to what is temporary: money, fame, relationships, or even youth. We try to hold on to what cannot be held, and when these things pass, we fall into despair. Real-life example. A person spends their entire life accumulating wealth, but as they age, they face the fear of losing everything. Someone who clings to their youthful looks feels tormented when time takes it away. A person who lives dependent on a relationship feels their world crumbling when that relationship ends. All this pain is a product of clinging. Philosophical analysis. Stoic philosophy teaches us about inner peace, ataraxia, which is achieved by accepting impermanence. The Stoics practiced premeditatio malorum, premeditation of evils, contemplating the possibility of losing precious things to prepare their minds. When you accept that everything can vanish, you are no longer bound by these things. Learning to live with impermanence does not mean you become unfeeling or that you don't value what you have. On the contrary, it means you live more fully in each moment because you know that nothing is forever. Enlightenment comes when you realize that true happiness does not depend on fleeting external things, but lies within your own inner freedom. When you let go of the fear of loss, you have liberated your soul, and that is when you find the deepest peace. The fifth path to enlightening your mind, and perhaps the ultimate goal, is to live with a purpose. An enlightened mind is not a wandering mind. It is a mind with a clear compass. A purpose in life is a lighthouse that guides you on the ocean of life, an endless source of strength that helps you overcome all temptations and distractions. Real-life example. Someone spends their entire life chasing fame and fortune. Even when they achieve success, they feel empty and meaningless. They lack a higher purpose to strive for. Meanwhile, another person who may not be rich or famous dedicates their life to a cause they believe in, such as helping their community, teaching children, or creating meaningful art. They find fulfillment and meaning in the very actions themselves. Philosophical analysis. Living with purpose is the core of Stoic philosophy. The Stoics believe that a happy and meaningful life is a virtuous life, lived in accordance with nature. The purpose of a human being is not to pursue fleeting pleasures, but to live a life of meaning, doing good for oneself and for society. Enlightenment comes when you connect with your life's purpose. This purpose is not a dry formula, but a calling from the depths of your soul. It allows you to rise above petty concerns and trivial desires. When you live with purpose, you will find focus, resilience, and courage. Your purpose becomes your compass, and you are no longer a victim of circumstances, but the architect of your own destiny. Dear friends, enlightening your mind is not a one-time event. It is a continuous journey of contemplation, practice, and self-mastery. It is a conscious choice to master your mind, to live a meaningful life, unswayed by the ever-changing currents of emotion. Remember, a great mind does not come from having everything, but from mastering yourself. Marcus Aurelius said, "Freedom and happiness are found in the mastery of your thoughts." Where will you begin your journey of enlightening your mind? Will you practice awareness, learn from great thinkers, face adversity, let go of clinging, or live with a purpose? Share your reflections and feelings in the comments below. Thank you for joining us. May you always find peace and profound tranquility within your soul, mastering your own destiny through mental self-control.